Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Between the Numbers podcast. Sorry we haven't been around for the first 2 weeks of the season. Been a little bit of a logistical mix-up with me and Mo, I guess. Well, but we're back. I'm sure you guys can't wait to hear it. Going to have our predictions for this week coming up, which will be NFL Week 3. And we're going to talk about just go over some of the games that we preferred last week, the ones that we think that there's something to talk about in. So Will, basically, man, first podcast of the season. We're a little bit late.
Yeah, like only 2 weeks. Like partly my fault as well. I wasn't. I was actually in. I was in America for the first week, so like I was maybe, like, you could say I was researching for the podcast.
Yeah. Just let's go with it. Let's go with that, man. Just say you're researching.
I've got so much new perspective now. Like, it's going to be quite a great season for this podcast. Like
a great season for this podcast. Wow, here we go.
I'm expecting big things.
Expecting big things, both from the NFL and from us, obviously. We need to get that Jay Cutler moment.
Hey, he's back in the. Aren't the wait? When are the Dolphins?
The Dolphins are playing the Dolphins are playing. I can't remember who they're playing. They're playing London. I can't remember which.
I think they're playing the Saints in London in.
Is that like next week? That is next week, yeah.
Week 4. No, is it next week?
Week 4,
wow,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
it's already like almost a quarter of the way through the season, man.
Oh wow!
Well, definitely not, but
the season goes so far. That's always I always feel like the season flies by and then it's gone, and then you just.
I feel it gets to like halfway through the season, and then the rest of it, because then it gets interesting, and then it just goes, and then it's just the end of the season.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we get on to some of the games that we want to talk about from last week?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Do you want to start us off then?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with Monday Night Football.
Oh yeah.
Where the Detroit Lions were at the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
The good old Detroit Lions, led by the charismatic and incredible quarterback that is Matt Stafford. They moved to 2-0. They won 24-10, and the Giants have now dropped to 0-2. So it's been quite a bad start to the season for them. I think the big thing is that the Giants look pretty crap. They can't protect Eli Manning. Their offensive line is like terrible. Like it was even worse tonight than it was last week against the Giants. Like the Lions don't have a particularly good pass rush, but Manning could barely keep on his own 2 feet. And they brought Odell Beckham came in for a couple plays. But he didn't look like he was 100%. Sterling Shepard didn't look like 100%. Basically, they look pretty terrible, and they're gonna have to make some major changes out there if they want to kind of carry match themselves. I think their defense is still really good. So this is why I'm gonna say this is why I think Matt Stafford had a good game. That I still think that Giants defense is very good. They have probably one of the best defensive lines after on par with maybe the Panthers is one of the best defensive lines in football. And I thought they played Stafford did really well. He was very elusive in the pocket. He got quite a few yards. I think this is Stafford's year. He's looking really good. He's always what's always been a problem I'd say with Stafford is they've always started really slow, the Lions, but they've come out of the blocks fast. They had the schedule's kind of been favourable to them. That the Cardinals were really crap last week, and the Giants again were crap this week. So he only had 120 yards, but he had two touchdowns. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Stafford this year. I think he's got a nice good core of receivers. I really like the rookie Kenny Golladay. Oh man, we should really learn enunciation before we trust. But yeah, they're good. Back on the Giants, how they could solve this. I saw an article today that said maybe they should trade for Adrian Peterson because he's not really doing much in New Orleans, and they desperately need a run game to take some of the pressure off Eli. But I'm also loving this because, as a Patriots fan, I just despise Eli Manning, and it's nice to see him exposed. It's Eli Manning has the same amount of interceptions as Jay Cutler.
Hey, Jay Cutler is possibly the best quarterback that I've seen, so it's a pretty good stat to have with them.
It's a stat that everyone is vying for as a quarterback. It's probably why I don't respect Matt Stafford as much, because he just doesn't throw those interceptions.
Yeah, well, clearly doesn't throw interceptions, but there was one fumble that he fumbled the ball and lost it in the game against the Giants, and just because it's me, I got to nitpick the problems that Stafford had in this game. Well, I mean, yeah, the Lions are off to a good start. I mean, they haven't been playing the best. They haven't been playing the best teams of sorts because obviously, the Cardinals kind of threw it away last week. They didn't really. Well, in week 1, and they didn't really show up. And then whatever's happening with the Giants this year, which they don't seem to be building at all on the promise that they had last season, moving any way forward. That offensive line just seems to be the biggest issue for the Giants. And if you don't have an offensive line right now, then it seems to be a bit of a problem. I mean,
even Tom Brady can't survive without an offensive line. Like you need an offensive line, and like it's like even the Giants pass rush even the Cowboys pass rush managed to get sacks on Eli Manning, and like they have a crap pass rush.
Yeah, no, yeah, the Cowboys pass rush is pretty average. I mean, they just they kind of lost all their big stars on the defensive line over the past 5 years. And they haven't really replaced them. Apart from not at all really. Anyway, yeah, again back onto this game. Yeah, I mean Eric Ebron had a pretty good game for the Lions. I think he's one of those. He was that first round draft pick from I think 2 years ago now or 3 years ago, where he's always been like maybe a little bit under. He's underperformed probably throughout the past years. That in his first years getting used to time in the NFL, but he got 5 receptions, most receptions in the game from Stafford. So maybe he's coming into it, which would definitely help the Lions because I've been feeling they've been missing that big body receiver since they lost Calvin Johnson. And obviously Eric Ebron's only a tight end, but hopefully they drafted him in the hope that he would be something in a few years, and maybe that's coming through right now. But I mean, it seems to be going all right for the Lions right now. I mean, they got a game coming up against the Falcons this week, so that'll be like a. I mean, you could argue that the teams they played on last season and the season before that. I mean, the Cardinals, people would still maybe put them as a very solid team.
No.
But yeah, I mean, Carson Palmer seems to have. I don't know what's happened there. And with no David Johnson, it seems to be going down. And they even brought back. We're not even talking about the Cardinals, but they even brought back Chris Johnson. So they're in a little bit.
They got to have a Johnson in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm gonna wait out on Matthew Stafford.
If he beats the Falcons next week, will you like maybe give him some respect?
I don't know. I'll be interested to see how the offensive line for the Lions holds up against the Falcons defense, because that's been the Falcons defensive line with Vic Beasley leading it has always been one of the tougher ones to go against, and they had a really stellar season last season. So obviously going all the way to the Super Bowl. But we're gonna have to. I don't want to. Like, I just don't see it. Like, he's been to the he doesn't win in the playoffs, man. Like, he doesn't do it.
Yeah, but he doesn't. There's so many quarterbacks that are regarded as good that haven't won in the playoffs. Like, he's better than.
Like,
he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
I actually do view Stafford as probably the most overrated player in the league.
No way. The most overrated player in the league is Eli Manning.
I don't think that people still rate him as highly as they once did, because people who rate Eli Manning will just be like, he's there in the playoffs and he'll do well then. But like, everyone knows he's there he can throw interceptions. And, but he's not right. But like, I don't see people voting him as like one of the people always put like Matt Stafford as like top 5 QB. Eli Manning's never in that kind of no one ever puts him in that conversation.
But then we say that I wouldn't be surprised if they put Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame.
Well, but he's won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, what's Stafford done?
But he was never the best at his position at any time.
But neither has Stafford been. Like, I'm
not saying Stafford should go the Fame. I'm just saying that he deserves more respect as a quarterback, because I think he's done a lot. Like, considering like the teams he's had around him after like Calvin Johnson retired. Because of his good quarterback play, he's developed.
But like in those those seasons since 2009 when he has had Calvin Johnson, like nothing's happened for him.
He went to the playoffs
3 times and lost each time. Well, he's been to the playoffs late and he's lost each time. Like,
they're such hard teams. Like, and he had to do it. Like, he's always doing it, just like relying on like passing to Calvin Johnson. Like, you need a defense as well.
He gets so much let off. The chat that he puts the team on his back. Obviously, that happens a little bit. But it's a quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback puts his team on the back usually. Like, that's just how it happens. And then, like, it just seems to have not really come down for him. Like, he's been to the Pro Bowl once. I'm pretty sure that kind of says a lot about it. Not being viewed as a top, like, I mean, you don't even need, like, to go to the Pro Bowl. You don't even need to be that good.
Tom Brady's only gone to like one Pro Bowl.
Exactly, because he's always away in the he's always away in the in the postseason, like winning the AFC. Whereas like Stafford would be one of those players. He'll be one of those players who would go to the Pro Bowl because he was like 8th overall voted in there, but the top 5 player QBs have gone. No, I'm not going to do it.
The Pro Bowl is such bullshit. Like, it's only the players. Like I told you before the part. Like, players get voted in because they're the most popular players, not because they're the best players in their position.
Yeah, true. Apart from if you're Cleveland Browns left tackle.
What, Joe Thomas?
Yeah, I feel that good because he always gets voted in, but like, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I'll move on to one of my games this week, from last week. Sorry. It was actually one of the games I was really excited for. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who were traveling to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. In a game where it was pretty up close towards the end, and in the game where the Chiefs won 27-20, which not all surprising that the Chiefs came away with a W in Arrowhead, but I don't want to say that Carson Wentz had a pretty damn good game. I mean, I knew he threw an interception, and maybe if he doesn't throw the interception, they can go and score and put more points up and everything. But as one of the kind of like newer, like, I don't know, newer breed of quarterbacks, the ones who all the young quarterbacks nowadays coming through, they can all run and pass. I haven't yet seen like a quarterback who's come through recently, apart from, well, actually, who can't run at all. Yeah, but I mean, like the ones who are competent. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Just waiting on Jared Goff to prove me wrong there. But like Carson, he's like an upcoming star, and I do like the way that he plays. But basically, what on this game I want to talk about is how the Chiefs. This is like a game which the Chiefs are expected a victory, and it's like such an Andy Reid win where they just like grind it out and then win by 7 points. Like they're not gonna blow anyone out really, apart from a few of the Patriots.
They
and I just put it in there for you. Don't worry.
Just like
I don't know. Just for you, mate. This is a classic Alex Smith game in 250 yards, 1 touchdown. No, he's all right. Obviously getting 2 touchdowns in to Kareem Hunt in the on the ground. It was a very Chiefs win where they grinded out, and the Chiefs defense is looking like pretty damn good from here. They were able to shut down receivers, even though there was a lot of yards being given up this weekend against the Eagles. But the Chiefs, they're looking strong in that division, and a division in the AFC West where the Raiders are having a good start, and well, the Broncos are showing that they're all right. I think it's 3 teams going 2-0. Yeah, the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Raiders all going 2-0. That AFC West division is looking really strong this year.
Yeah. Like I think I would have said before the season it was probably the best division of football because there's three like I'd say before the season I thought there was 2 very good teams in the Chiefs and the Raiders, and then I wasn't really sure about the Broncos. Broncos have proven that defense is still good, and Trevor Siemian has somehow like pulled like, I don't know, decent quarterback play out of his ass. Like I have no idea like how he's good. Like how has this happened? Like I thought he was really crap.
Maybe it was because it was Brock Osweiler that got signed, and he was like, no, I gotta actually do it for my team.
I can't lose this job to Brock Osweiler. That's so embarrassing. Like, any quarterback now, that's just the motivation you need. Just sign Brock Osweiler. Like shit, I'm not getting benched for him.
Yeah, exactly.
But I thought Alex Smith built really well on his win against the Patriots, where I thought that was kind of the big surprise to me was how like good Alex Smith was. It was more than just kind of solidly throwing like 5 and 6 yard passes. Like he was actually like improvising, making big plays. Like he had some pretty good plays towards the end of the game when it was getting tight, where he made some big runs and made some like his longest pass was 44 yards, and that's quite big for him. Like, and he rushed for 21 yards. He had one rush right at the end where they won the game, where he rushed for a first down. That was quite impressive. And then I liked watching Travis Kelce as well. Like he scored an awesome touchdown when they had a shovel pass to him, and then he just ran straight through.
He's a good playmaker. He's always one to watch for like highlight reels. I always find out Travis Kelce is.
He's also become a very good pass blocker now and run blocker now. Like as a tight, like you get so many tight ends now
who just
you just catch the ball, and the really good ones like Gronk, Greg Olsen, Jason Witten. They can all
like
pass.
Gronk, good one. Yeah, okay.
Do I need to like defend the fact that Gronk's the best tight end in the league?
Yeah, like the pass, like catching one. I don't think his blocking isn't that great.
He's such a good blocker. Incredible blocker. He puts in so many blocks. Literally, like when he's not injured, he's blocking.
Which is when he's injured right now, isn't he?
No, he says he's okay.
Oh, okay.
I think he's like questionable for the Sunday, but he's always questionable.
He's always questionable. It just happens every time. And then he always gets he always picks up a knock and then goes off, which is rather annoying. Anyway, I'm gonna move on to my next game.
Jake.
Sticking in the AFC West. Pick up the game for the Cowboys, who went to the Broncos in the Mile High Stadium and got like sent back to Dallas pretty with their tail between their legs, really. I mean, yeah, you were talking about like Trevor Siemian, just 4 touchdowns in the air. Threw an interception, but it wasn't as bad as his like opposite number in Dak Prescott, who threw two interceptions, one which Akeem Talib brought back for a 103-yard touchdown. And whenever that happens, so I know that was in the fourth quarter, and that's like him trying to force the game because they need to get back in, but it just obviously doesn't do that. His stats look a little bit more impressive, and it's like one of those. The NFL right now is very stat kind of heavy league. I really find it's very difficult to find players who you can be like they're good, but they don't show up in stats, and you have to kind of justify why. But in this game, yeah, the Cowboys' offense, which was so on fire last year, just seemed to like really crumble here. I mean, the run game everyone knows that the Broncos have a really, really good defense. Obviously, they have numerous studs in the defense with obviously with Akeem Talib in their secondary being as good as it is, as well as having Von Miller leading that up front, that pass rush, which is probably one of the best pass rushes in the league. Like as a team as a whole, and it really showed up against the Cowboys because Ezekiel Elliott, on course to be, like he was in contention for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know that Dak P got it, but he was there as well. He was in the chat for MVP as well, but he only rushed for 8 yards. And as your number one rush, obviously he's back after a suspension. As your number one rusher, I mean, he didn't really look in shape as well.
He hasn't even been suspended yet.
I mean,
he hasn't served any of his suspension yet.
Did he not serve the first game?
No, he played. Like he's it's under review, his suspension.
Oh, okay, fair. But I mean, like they may as well have been suspended because
he played so great,
and he doesn't even look like he's in shape. Like there was just how he does that stupid thing with his like crop top kind of thing. Like he didn't look like the shredded back. He's the shredded running back that he always is, and it just didn't really work out that way for him.
He deserved all the criticism that came his way because like he got ripped quite a lot, being like, oh, he kind of gave up towards the end, which I thought was like, it's fair. Like you're the guy that people look towards in your team. You're not exactly in the spotlight in the right way at the moment, considering like he got suspended for domestic abuse.
Such a Cowboys thing as well. The Cowboys, like I know there's loads of memes and stuff, loads of chat about the Cowboys always signing these and having these criminals on their team, but like it does seem to be the case that loads of the Cowboys players just have like bad like criminal record or something, and it just and like nothing really happened. And it just seems to be like because it's Ezekiel Elliott and he plays for the Cowboys, like his suspension, as you say, it's not being enforced. So it just seems to be that.
I don't like the way as well that like Jerry Jones comes out being like, "Oh, this is unfair. Like he shouldn't be suspended." It's like, he did beat his girlfriend. Like he should get a suspension for that. Like it's kind of like, I know you want to win, but like it's kind of hard to like agree with someone when he's defending a player for beating his girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah, it's not so great. But anyway, for the Broncos offense,
he got beaten by the Broncos instead.
Yeah, for the Broncos offense, putting up 42 points against any team. I know the Cowboys defense, we've already talked about this, isn't the best. But still, like the Broncos, this is the one thing they needed because everyone knows their defense was great. This is the one thing they needed from a quarterback, whoever it is. Obviously, Trevor Siemian doing it right now. They needed him to step up and have some games. So they have all those receivers. They have Demaryius Thomas. They have Emmanuel Sanders. And they have solid running backs with C.J. Anderson leading the line. He got 118 yards last week. The Broncos could be on, after like stuttering and fluttering last year, they could be on to be put on pressure. But as we said, that division is so tough. I mean, and watching how the Chiefs beat the Patriots, and obviously Patriots are always going to be high up there, and they'll be challenging for the AFC again. With the Chiefs already have that win, everyone else in the AFC West has got to go and play them as well. So, we're going to see how everyone lines up.
Yeah, I'd say that I'd still put maybe the Chiefs is still like my leading team in this division. I think they've shown they've had the best performances so far. But I thought this game was like very much like a come down to earth. Like, I know that the Cowboys lost in the playoffs last year, and that was like a lesson learned for them. But I thought this was a really coming down to earth game for both Dak and Zeke, where they came up against like they haven't played against some really really good they played against some good defenses, but not like top level defense.
We talk about the NFC East, and you don't really talk about the defense. I mean, there's the Giants, who did the double over over Cowboys last season. So
this could be like a running trend that like this Cowboys team really struggles against like good defense. You got to get like if you just have a good secondary and put pressure on Dak and to basically take Zeke out of the game, like it looks like that's the way to beat this Cowboys team, and it looks like good defenses do that. But I reckon they both seem like very capable and driven players. I reckon this will be a learning curve. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and make this not happen again. But I think it's something that needed to happen because like you're gonna come up against like this is also like a once in a lifetime defense. Like, I think that secondary of Aqib Talib, Chris Harris is one of the best in the NFL we've seen in the last few years. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But other teams have beaten them, like they were very average last year, so be able to find a way.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to go on for your next
game? Yeah, my next game. So this was actually kind of a blowout, but I just kind of want to rant about certain things, so that's why I chose it. So the Tennessee Titans it was against the it was Tennessee Titans against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Titans won 37-16. So it was a tight game in the first half, which was kind of what people were expecting because the Jags surprised everyone last week and came out with this offense where they just ran the ball like 50 times a game and absolutely just battered their team to pieces. Like their defense on paper is really really good, so they kind of just went with that. And and people thought, this could be a fun game to watch, and it wasn't really a fun game to watch in the first half. It was really boring. Like the Titans weren't really getting much going on offense. Like Mariota looked kind of poor, and both defenses were kind of sucking up a lot of the offense. But and in the second half, it really opened up, and the Titans took like a lead quite quickly. They scored 17 points in the third quarter and then 14 points in the fourth quarter. And guess what? The Jags scored 13 points in garbage time because that's the only time Blake Bortles scores points. And then like quite an interesting swap for them was when they brought in the second half, they brought in Derrick Henry as opposed to DeMarco Murray at running back and gave him more of the carries, and he came out with 92 yards and scored a touchdown as well. Mariota he raised his game quite significantly in the second half, and he looked absolutely fantastic. I really highly rate him as a quarterback. I think he's going to be good. I rate this whole Titans team. I think they could be really a team to watch out for. But I think they're still struggling to integrate the new receivers. They drafted Corey Davis in the I think 6th or 7th overall with a pick that they still had left over from last season, and then they also signed Eric Decker. So they've got a lot of new guys that they've signed, and they kind of want to gel that receiver core a bit more. So kind of see how that goes. And also, I think in the first half, kind of uncharacteristically, their offensive lineman, Jack Conklin, who was an all-pro offensive tackle last year as a rookie, gave up 4 penalties, which is very weird for him. He usually, 4 holding penalties, which was not very normal for him. And then the Jags, they just came back down to earth. They had that one game, remember a couple of years ago when the 49ers came back. It was when came back and had an incredible first game on Monday Night Football, and they won 20-0 or something against the Rams, and everyone thought they were going to be huge and amazing this season, and then they were terrible for the rest of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags do this. But I think the only chance the Jags have of winning is 1, find a better quarterback, and 2, ride your defense for as long as possible. They have so many, you saw it last week. There's so many good players on defense. Their secondary is starting to look good with guys like AJ Boye and Jalen Ramsey. Miles Jack actually looks quite really good now. Malik Jackson got a sack. Calais Campbell was obviously
He got the franchise record, didn't he? His debut game.
Yeah. Well, that was so. Yeah, I think the Jags, if they kind of do things the right way, they could maybe sneak and kind of stay competitive for the rest of the season. But you can't carry on with Blake Bortles. I think he is you can just tell even when they were drawing, it wasn't because of him. He wasn't looking down the field to try and complete passes further down. He was always looking for short passes, and he had loads of times where he had receivers open and he would just lob it over their head or something. So that definitely needs to change. But Titans, they look good. They're 1-1 now. They're my kind of sneaky favourite to take the AFC South. I think they're really good. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the AFC South this year.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I think the AFC South is always that that division which is always up for grabs to anyone in the division. And but it seems to be this year that people have finally kind of, at least other NFL analysts have finally gotten off the Jaguars bandwagon, because they've kind of seen Blake Bortles now and they've seen what's happened, and he just hasn't progressed in the way that people thought he would. And I feel definitely the new kind of it's all shifted over to the Titans in that division. If you're gonna pick,
these are people that get paid to do this.
Yeah, I know, and there's
people that get paid to say the Jags are good.
And it's just
you could listen to us for free and say they're not good.
Exactly, the Jags is possibly the most. I don't. It's not. To be fair, I don't really think it's the Jags. It's because they have Blake Bortles right now, and he's not the quarterback who people thought he would be, or who they hoped he would turn out to be right now. Whereas Marcus Mariota obviously showing all the good signs. This is the thing, because there's not Blake Bortles. He can't really run, and all these young quarterbacks, they kind of need to be able to escape, because how dominant everyone's defensive line is right now. The quarterback needs to be mobile in an effort to do anything, because obviously Aaron Rodgers is one of the most successful quarterbacks. He's probably the best quarterback to make a throw on the run in the league. He can be scrambling out of his pocket and hit a deep ball down the field,
But here's also something that Carson Wentz is really good at. He did it a couple times in week 1. He did it again in week 2, where he gets kind of flushed out of the pocket and he improvises so well.
You got to be elusive right now in this league. because the defensive line is so big and obvious. I don't know why, but five offensive linemen plus maybe a running back or a fullback can't really stop everyone who's running after the quarterback. So you need a quarterback who can like get out of the pocket and do all that and be successful in that way. And Blake Bortles isn't really doing that well. Obviously, Marcus Mariota, we all know that he could do that. Interesting to see, the AFC South. We say this every year, though. We always say that the division is open because the Houston Texans, who've won it for the past 3 years, their quarterback situation is always up in the air. Obviously, right now they came into the season with Tom Savage as their guy, and they halfway through the first game bench him. Classic Texans. This seems to be what they do. Just say it's their guy, and then just be like, all right, it's not going well with the first game in. See you later. But yeah, AFC South is definitely one which is up for grabs this year for anyone. And yeah, I think the Tennessee Titans, everyone's kind of like, yeah, I like that team. Like they've been all right. They're like not really harmful. That's the thing. Like they're not gonna beat your team, but you like them. So that's probably why they're getting all this love. That's kind of why the Jaguars will get all this love, because you'd be like, yeah, I like the Jags. They're up and coming. I like their defense. They might pull up an upset against some other teams, but they'll never really beat your team.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, the Titans as well. I think people like them because they're not like in your face about their success. They've kind of just like slowly, like they were quite solid last year, and then now you're like kind of, oh, like yeah, they're a cool team. Like they're fun. But yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to our
picks.
picks.
Should pick some games.
Yeah, let's do it for the picks for next week. So obviously this is moving into
week 3.
Week 3, and we kick off with a banging game for in Thursday Night Football, which is the Rams.
Almost makes you want to stay up till 1:30 to watch this.
Yeah, I know, right? The Rams travel to San Fran to take on the 49ers. And in this game where the 49ers haven't been so great, the Rams seem to be pulling out a little bit. So, you know, for me, I'm going to go for the Rams in this game. The 49ers just, I mean, any team with Brian Hoyer as a quarterback isn't going to be doing too well.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Rams on this one as well. I kind of like Sean McVay, their new head coach. He's been really good. Like the Rams had such a good chance to win on the weekend against the Redskins, but Jared Goff made like the most terrible throw ever. He basically they showed it on the replay, and he was staring at the receiver from the snap all the way to the throw that he was going to throw to. And then the linebacker was just like, cool, cheers, yeah, are you going to throw that? And then just ran through, intercepted the ball, and the game was over. Like, it's just frustrating. I was the coach.
And the Rams, they're that team who I don't think they'll be doing that well. I mean, I feel like this is the year where the Seahawks really should just dominate that division. And they're not even that good. Well, they are good, but they're not. They haven't been as good as they have been in the past.
Yeah, but Seahawks don't really start going until like week 5.
Yeah, it's true. And then they'll go on like an 8-game win streak, and then it's they'll kick in right before the playoffs. That's what they do. They do the thing like what the Patriots do, you know. Even though you guys will probably win for the rest of the season. Anyway. Moving on to the Sunday games, we start off with the first London game of the year. There's 4 of them coming up this year, which is impressive. Good on the NFL, I guess. Although I'm not heading to any games. But this one is the Baltimore Ravens, who are traveling to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, after signing that deal a few years ago, always have a game on in London. It's the Jags. They're playing. They're probably going to lose. I'm going to go for the Ravens in this one. I don't trust Blake Bortles right now.
I'm going to go for the Ravens.
This would lead the Ravens to a 3-0 start, you know.
No, I'm not going to make this my fun pick. I thought about making it like a fun, but no, it's just no. I don't want to risk that.
No upset. No upset.
Yeah, and I thought the Ravens, their defense looks so good, and I think they'll be fine. I think they'll cruise to a victory here.
Yeah, they have their like
average play is definitely better than the Jaguars' average play. So there, we'll go for the Ravens in that one. So coming up next, we have the Cleveland Browns traveling to take on the Indianapolis Colts, and this could be a first win for either team here, both at 0-2. And I don't think the Browns have actually played that badly, to be honest. And I think this is one of the games where the Browns actually could win.
Yeah,
because the Colts don't have. They still have. They don't know. It's not Scott Tolzien they have now. They've got another player coming in for the.
Good old Jake Brisket.
Yeah, exactly. And the Cleveland Browns have been alright so far. Obviously, only they didn't do too badly in the last couple of weeks, but they've been in the game. I know they played the Ravens last week and they lost by 14 points, but it doesn't seem to be the Browns of past seasons. I'm gonna have to go for the Browns on this one, and that's very odd to say, to be honest.
I'm gonna go for the Colts because they're at home.
Fair enough.
I don't really trust the Browns enough yet. If they I'm happy to be proven wrong in this game, but I'm going with my head first.
Okay, fair enough. Right, moving on, we're going to NFC matchup here, and the New York Giants taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Simply because the Giants haven't been so bad, and I'm quite liking the Eagles right now. I'm gonna go for the home team in Philadelphia here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Eagles as well.
Not picking the Giants, huh?
Would I ever pick the Giants?
I don't know. Maybe if they were playing. Actually, who else do you hate as much as the Giants? Not really anyone else.
Broncos.
The Broncos. Well, Giants or Broncos? Who would you pick in that game?
Probably the Broncos.
Exactly. Right. Moving on to a AFC East game here. We have the Miami Dolphins traveling to the Jets, and the Jets have actually outscored the Giants in the past 2 games. So the Giants are actually the worst scoring team in New York. Even saying that, that's how bad the Giants have been this week, because the Jets are awful. And I've got Jay Cutler and the Miami Dolphins here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Dolphins as well. I think the Jets are the worst team in the NFL.
The Jets are the worst team. Yeah, I don't think the Browns are as bad as right now.
The Browns, at least there's some hope there. The Jets are just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
There is zero hope there. They gave up in that game last week, and it's week 2.
That's true. Right, moving on to an AFC matchup where we have the Denver Broncos who travel to the Buffalo Bills, and the Broncos just coming off that huge win. Where they put up 47 points, and then the Bills only put up 3 against the Panthers. So I'm gonna go for the Broncos here.
Yeah, there's a lot of easy picks this week. I would probably go for the Broncos as well. They've surprised everyone so far this year, and I think they will carry on surprising everyone. And the Bills look all right, but yeah, they're not going to do much this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, right. The New Orleans Saints travel to Carolina to take on my Panthers here in an NFC South matchup. Where in this game, as we talked about earlier about the New Orleans Saints not really using Adrian Peterson that much, I'm not too bothered about the Saints right now. I could see them potentially, but we've had 2 wins. This will be that. This will put us to 3-0 and them to 0-3, and it could be bye-bye to the Saints this season.
Yeah, I think you'll win as well. I think I've been really disappointed in the way the Saints haven't really used Adrian Peterson. I thought this would make them really good would be having Adrian Peterson, but they've kind of avoided it, which is sad.
Yeah, they just stuck they're doing the same thing, even though they still have all their eggs in one basket with Drew Brees. It's a pretty good basket to have it in, but
Yeah, it's a nice one, but it's kind of it's got small now, and it's not as fun anymore.
Right, Steelers travel to Chicago Bears. I've got the Steelers in this game. I know Chicago have played well, and Mitchell Trubisky's actually not been too... not Mitch, yeah. It's actually not been too average. But, it's Pittsburgh, and I'm expecting a blowout here, really.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite an ugly game for the Bears. The Steelers look good, and they got Martavis Bryant back finally last week.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he looks quite good, and I think once that core of Big Ben, Martavis Bryant, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell gets going again, I think it's going to be a real tough thing to work with.
Yeah, probably the game on the week. Thinking about it right now, looking through all the games, is the Falcons at the Detroit Lions here. Very interesting matchup here, and I really don't know what to do in this matchup because I don't like either of these teams. But because I really don't think Stafford is that great, and I do think the Atlanta Falcons are still doing not too bad. So, do I really want to pick the Falcons in this? I'd like the Falcons to lose for a Panthers perspective, but I don't think they will. I think the Falcons will win this game.
I'm going to go the other way and go for the Lions.
You're going to go for the Lions? You're going to take the Lions over Matthew Stafford over Matt Ryan? Fair enough. Like,
yes.
Yeah, I could see maybe. But they were so. I think the Falcons were dominant over the Packers and just seemed to. I mean, hopefully they'll be able to duplicate it. Really.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving on. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are obviously a game behind after missing out on that first game of the season due to the hurricane. So we've got the Buccaneers who are traveling to Minnesota, take on the Vikings, and the Bucs. The Bucs are one of those teams everyone's kind of got on the bandwagon for, really, and everyone's just kind of been like, yeah, they can do it.
Bandwagon's kind of justified as well. Like, yeah. They looked really good.
In this game, I'll have to take the Buccaneers in this one.
I'm gonna take the Vikings.
You're gonna take the Vikings? Ooh,
after saying that their bandwagon was justified, I'm gonna take the like. I think. Well, it depends. Actually, I'm gonna leave this pick open.
Leave it open.
In a way that if Bradford starts, I'm taking the Vikings. If he doesn't, I'm taking Bucks.
Okay, I mean, I've got the Bucks in here. Anyway, so moving on, the Texans who travel to New England to take on your Patriots. I feel the Patriots still have something to prove after that Week 1 loss, and the Houston Texans, although they've been admirable, they're not really the same caliber team.
Yeah, like the Patriots are not going to walk into Foxborough after the last time the Patriots were there. We lost.
Yeah,
there's no way that the Texans are going to be winning this one. But they might make the game interesting. Like I really liked watching Deshaun Watson. Like that touchdown he scored against the Bengals was awesome.
Yeah, very true, very true. So maybe we'll get to see some plays. Although I do think that Patriots are going to come away with this one. Right, Seahawks at the Titans. Probably also another really good game of the week actually. Depending on which one you want, and I'm actually a little bit stuck on this one. I might wait till see who do you think is going to win this.
I'm gonna back the Titans on this. They're at home. I liked how they looked last year. I really liked. So the Seahawks offensive line has been terrible, and the Titans pass rush has been so good. Like Brian Arapaho has been so sick for them, and Seahawks can't get anything going on offense. But their defense is still good. But I think the Titans have got an offense that's really well suited to grinding down a team.
Yeah.
Like that double-headed running attack, like they did last week. Like it wasn't working with DeMarco Murray. They just stick in Derrick Henry and he gets 100 yards. So I think the Titans will grind out this win, and it's gonna be fantastic, and I'm gonna love it.
Right. Okay. So next game we got here is the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Green Bay, and I think Green Bay after that loss are going to have to come out with a big win, and the Bengals are pretty average right now, so I'm going to take Green Bay in this one.
Yeah, I would take the Packers as well. I think that the Bengals, even though they've sacked their offensive coordinator now, they look so poor. They can't get anything going on offense or defense, and I think they might be more competitive in this game because they want to prove something, but the Packers have looked really their secondary was kind of banged up a bit last week, and so is their offensive line against the Falcons. But I think they'll come back in a big spot.
Right, moving on, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs playing against the Chargers. Now, this is a game that the Chargers could always win because these are the type of games the Chargers do win, like a random game which is in their division, which they shouldn't really. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
That sounds like enough justification for me. I'm going to take the Chargers.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I think also as well, like they've had 3 like really tough losses, and I think that I don't know. I think they'll find a way, and I think it will be like one of those like weird divisional games that's kind of close. And, Lee Red will get a win.
It could be right. I'm going to have the Sunday night game here with the Raiders taking on the Redskins. In Washington, but the Raiders don't look like they can be stopped right now, and I'm gonna have to pick them over the Redskins in this one.
Yeah, the Redskins haven't shown me anything this season that makes me want to like say that they're justified. Like they lost the Eagles week 1, they limped to a win against the Raiders in week 2. So yeah, show me something else, and then I'll pick you.
Yeah, finally we have the Monday Night Football game, which could be a potentially should be a good game, which is the Cowboys taking on the Cardinals in Arizona. I'm kind of hoping the Cowboys bounce back, because when they do play well, it does look really good. But whereas the Cardinals just doesn't seem to come through right now. They're not playing too well. Although Carson Palmer will probably have an easier time against that Dallas defense. So I think I might pick. Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals this one. Actually, go for it. Actually, no, they don't have David Johnson. No, they don't have David Johnson. Yeah. I'm picking the Cowboys.
Okay, I'm gonna go for the Cowboys as well. I can't see the Cardinals. They haven't got enough on offense to really put this team. And I don't think they can get that stop on defense. It's the Cowboys offense is gonna want to have a big game. So.
Yeah, true. Right, there you go, guys. I think that'll be our picks for this week. Obviously, you can lock them in as pretty much God-given gospel, because we're always right. Even though, obviously, we disagree on some of the points. But anyway, yeah, I think that'll be it for this week, guys. And hopefully we'll be back next week for resuming our weekly podcast. You know how it goes. But anyway, guys, till then, chat to you later.